Hello and welcome to the new episode of a new series that's not really named yet, but will focus on, well, I don't really want to say tutorials, but something along the lines of a tutorial. More of a how did I do something. So in this first episode I will show you how did I do the weathering on my F91, and let's just go through some of the things that might be needed and probably are necessary for my weathering. So the first thing first, coffee. You always need coffee. You want coffee, you always need it. It's like the most important thing ever for the weathering. Second thing, the part you will work on. I'm gonna be working on the arm for this one, and something weird going on with my... never mind. Something interesting with my second camera. I will probably show it. Well, also our setup is a little bit different this time, but let's go back to working on it. You're gonna need a bit of sponge, because that will be the first part of the weathering. I'm gonna use these tweezers for it because, yeah, in the hand it's not really that good. Some water, paint tray, some more water in a syringe, because I like applying it with a syringe because it's a bit less messy than trying to do it in any other way. Some brushes, those are pretty small brushes because I like to work on the details. And of course the paints. I'm gonna be using some washes from, in that case, Vallejo, that's the black wash, and some paints from Vallejo. It's the smoke, the probably German grey. I might use some black if I will manage to find it on the other desk, because as you know, the state of the desk can be described in a one word as messy as hell. That's a one word. Okay, there is the black paint. Yep. Black. And some metallics, of course. Oily steel in my case, and game color silver. And a bit of airbrush thinner, because in some cases when you don't have any washes you can make them with an airbrush thinner, and it works pretty good in my opinion, at least. So that's what I will be using, and without further ado, let's just start working on it. You're gonna have to prepare a small bit of sponge. I think that's even still too big. That's good. Yeah, just a little bit of sponge. The rest will be put to the side for now. And then you want to prepare your washes and paints as well later by rolling them, because that's the most effective way to mix them. Sorry for that. Get just a little bit of the wash. Yeah, it might be a bit too much, but yeah. For the arm at least, I will work on the leg if I have any left. Then you want to grab the sponge, maybe a bit differently, and get some of it onto some of the paint on the sponge. Get rid of what you think might be too much. It's better to start small and then add more later. You'll see there are some parts that I have mispainted, or yeah, whatever. So those will be the focuses of the weathering. First thing is to fix the stuff you fucked up. So just apply it with a spoon. Actually, yeah, that looks kinda nice. You may be wondering why I'm applying a wash with a sponge. Well, that's just how I do it, and just to get some of the areas that you think would be the most weathered, bit of a different way. Some more. Mostly you want to focus on the edges. Yeah, sponge weathering with a wash, it's not as precise as sponge weathering with a normal paint, but that's because I want to sort of build up the area I will be working on. Yeah, that decal is kind of fucked, so let's just add some more wash in there. Yeah, a bit at the edge. There's something that looks like it could have been a vent. Probably is, considering there's a beam shield here. It would produce a bit of a heat, I would assume. Some on the arm, not too much. Mostly work on the edges, and I'm sorry if I will get something off camera for a moment, because, well, I'm not really used to doing this, so that's one thing to remember. And in the meantime, I would like to thank a friend for a shout out that he did, and I will link his channel in the description. Dave is a pretty cool guy, and you should all go and subscribe to him, because he's showing off a loads of stuff. Yeah, and you really want to see that. Yeah, just a bit more in the... yeah, like that. Anyway, back to the weathering. There are some parts that weren't weathered at all. So let's just add some more in here. Yeah, a bit in the middle. That's the inside, so nothing too much going on here, but just to make it a bit more dirty and to have that overall look. You don't want to do too much of it, but you got to, well, you don't have to, but it would be a good idea to try and keep consistent throughout the kit with the weathering, not just one part weathered to hell and the others clean. Yeah, a bit more here. I think that looks good for now. Now, maybe a bit more here. Yeah. Let's put the sponge here. Sorry for that. I will get another piece of sponge and that's a bit too small. Sorry. Let's try and grab some with the tweezers. I think these are called tweezers. If I'm not, then well. And let's get some black, and once again roll it in your hands, prepare it. It's gonna be well mixed, because you want to have the pigments and not just the carrier. So let's put some more to the tray. Actually, let's put it here because I don't really need much, and I want this tray to last for a while. Once again, you take the sponge. It's a bit of a weird one, but dab it in. Get rid of the excess. I haven't prepared any paper towels, so that will be a thing to do before the detailing, and then just add it in the parts that are most weathered. Yeah, just like that. Oh, sorry. Some more here and there on the beam shield generator thingamajig. Some here. Let's get some more paint on that sponge. just dab it in everywhere, basically, because that's how you want to do it if you want to be consistent. Yeah, that's quite weathered. We will try to make it look like it was hit with a beam there. Oh, get back your sponge. You're not allowed to leave yet. Soon, yes, but not yet. A little bit more paint. Try to... oh shit. Well, that sometimes happens. What you want to do then is just try to make it look like it was supposed to be that way, and it's all gonna be good. Nothing to worry about. Some more here because whoa! Don't you try to run from me. There isn't far that you can escape. I'm gonna find you. Anyway, back to the weathering. Some more on the edges. That's mostly it, I think. Some more on the hand. Try to, well, gotta say it, try to hide any imperfections you had before. You know the best where they are. I'm not trying to overdo it, so gotta remember, this is the arm with the beam shield on it, so it would be the least damaged, in my opinion at least, so try to remember that when weathering it. There wouldn't be really any battle damage on it, I think, but we will make this look like it was shot just for the sake of the video, I guess, or for the sake of me screwing up. Now, I'm not gonna need the tweezers for now. What I need now is some oily steel paint. Roll it up. I'm gonna put it onto the tray here. Not too much, just a little bit. You don't really need much for weathering, so. And a little bit of water. Get a suitable brush. What I'm using here are some various brushes, and let me just show them real quick. Yeah, I think I'm gonna use the middle one here. That's the don't know the brand. It's a zero brush, and what's important for me at least is that it's from Kolinsky Sable, and those are pretty good brushes. I'm not really a person that would stick to one brand because they are the best or whatever, because I'm not at that level of painting yet, and I don't think I will ever be. Although the small brushes are great, especially when you want to do some miniature stuff or you want to do some weathering. Now get the part in your hand, get some of that metallic paint, get rid of any excess, and then just start applying it where you think it would look the best. What you want to focus on are the biggest areas, because yeah, the small scratches won't really make it to the deeper parts of the armor. I mean, there are different ways of doing it depending on the color, and in that case this is ivory and off-white, so that's why I'm doing this. On a darker color I would go with silver first and then add black inside of it. but here I will do it the other way around. Why? Well, I just think it looks better. That's yeah. You don't want to go all the way to the edge. You want to leave a black outline. It can be done the other way around. Just paint the black around the silver, but this one gives the silver a bit more depth because you have more layers below it, and silver on black would not look just as good, in my opinion. Of course, some people may think otherwise, and they're probably right, but that's how I do it, and I find that to work for me. So yeah, just to give it a bit more depth. And then some on the front part of the arm. The paint might be a bit too thin, but that's nothing to worry about because you just can go with a few more layers and it will be just fine. It's kind of weird doing it with the camera in the way, so you will have to excuse me there. A little bit of here, a little bit there, just do a bit of a edge on those things. Now let's move to the other side, a bit here, not too much. Maybe a smidgen here. Yeah, just to try to focus on some key areas like the edges and the parts that have the most of it, because it would look weird if there weren't any. Yeah, that's more like it. And let's go and do this part. Sorry, you probably couldn't have seen it. Well, it's just me sucking at this. Well, it's my first time, kinda. No, not really. I used to do videos in the back on the old channel. But nothing really like this. I kinda like the setup I've got now. It will be a hell to edit, but yeah, that's something I have to deal with. I'm avoiding the area in here, but I guess it's time to do this just a bit here. And now this area. Let's start from here and kinda go around it to work our way to the middle. Now you want to go pretty heavily on this. It's starting to look good. But what I'm gonna do now is I will, oh, I don't need this. I'll just do it this way. I will get the second brush and get a little bit of the black paint mixed with the wash. No particular reason to do that, but kind of like the consistency it gives me. And the brush is kinda hard, don't know why. Okay, let's get a bit more wash in here and apply it quite liberally to the area, and a bit here as well, just make it look like it was damaged a bit more, huh? Okay, now this will dry in a few minutes, or a minute or two actually. Let's just thin the wash a bit, just a bit. I want to have it, yeah. Is it too thin? Might be too thin. Let's get some, okay, yeah, that's the mix. I don't want to put it in the other part. I'm mixing it on the side. There is a bit of a nook here that I can use, so now with this prepared, let's just try it on something that should work. Okay, and go over the areas that you've been doing before, going kinda a bit further into the part to make a darker area around the most damaged part. You want to do this to have the weathering look more natural, because it's not like it randomly appears out of nowhere. The parts around the heaviest part will be weathered as well, just not as much. Well, I hope I'm explaining this right. I really do, because if not, well, then you're fucked. And let's just go over here. You don't have to go over each and every one. Oh, wait a second. Looks like my SD card is full, so let me just clean it and I'll be back soon. And welcome back after the break. I had to take care of a few things and I had no electricity for an hour or so it took me a bit longer, but I'm back with more coffee now. Anyway, let's continue when we left off, which is adding some more wash to the parts. Let me just get it a bit more, because I decided to use up what I had prepared before. Didn't want to let it waste. And I had no idea for how long I will have no electricity, so decided to just do something else, and I've been working on a different project that I will show up one day, but not in this video, because that one is all about the weathering. Now let's get some of that wash tinned and continue with adding it to the kit itself. A bit more wash. Too much water, but okay, that's more what I was going for. As you can see, the wash from Meryl dried and made this darker area around the parts that have been weathered. And that's exactly what we are looking for. A bit more here, a bit more there. You get the general idea. So I could cut this, but maybe for the next video I will do a bit more quick stuff, like, or maybe, I don't know, depends what you guys want. If you want some more of this or a different format, I'm okay with everything. Let's put a bit more in here, yeah. Just because I'm too lazy to bust out the paint. And let's get this around here. Yep. Just, you know, a bit more here and there. Yeah, looks about right. I got left to do this area. I did apply some more here before. Can apply some bit more here. Okay, this looks good. A bit more inside, so it doesn't look so clean compared to everything around it. It will be cleaner because that parts that can't really be damaged, but it wouldn't look right. Now let's clean the brush a bit. As you can see, I do have a paper towel now. Yay me! Oh, sorry about that. Let's get some more oily steel. Not too much, because, well, first it's a pretty thick paint. Second, I will really need a little bit, a really small amount. That's all I need for this. I want it to be rather thick, because I will now do the most damaged area. That is here. Let's try to get this in focus properly, and then I will just go over it like this. Try to. You want to apply it rather thickly and create a sort of a texture, and what's gonna help with that is a bit more wash, and we will apply it just now with another brush, because that's easier to do it. And we get a bit of a wash here, and then just some more in there, and then apply it onto the freshly put silver or metallic color of your choice. Should start getting some texture now. Yeah. Looks about right. Let me zoom in on it for a second. No camera. About something like this. Nope. Okay. Yeah, you can see it's still wet, but that's what we wanted. And let's go back to the metallic. Add some more onto here, on the edge, just a little bit, maybe some more. You can really just go over it over and over again to make it the way you want to. And let's see if it is drying. Yeah, so let's put a bit more to the front part. Focusing on the edge itself. And now I will just add a few metallic spots to this part. Sorry if I'm being quiet, it's just kinda concentrating. Trying to put it just in the middle. Not too much, but to give it a bit of a sheen inside of it. Yeah. And then get some more of it and go over those parts. I'm not sure why it's so bloody blown out. The light, I mean. I guess just the camera tries to adjust. Yeah, that should be visible on this angle. Just a little bit. Yeah, looks about right here, and a bit more here. Let's start from the middle and work our way outwards. And a bit more for good measure. Clean the brush real quick. Switch to the wash brush. Get some tint wash and try to blend it in somehow with the previous layers and the stuff around. Like this, and a bit more on the edge here, so when it dries it doesn't leave any clean spots around the area, because that would just look out of place. I know most of this stuff won't be even seen by whoever looks at it, but I will know it's there, and that might at some point drive me nuts. And what some people would say it already did, but I don't think so. I'm not that nuts. Well, not yet anyway. And I plan to stay at least a bit sane. Okay, this is starting to be pretty damaged. Now the final step will be the adding of King Color Silver. Sorry for the out of focus. Maybe on this one. Nope, too much light in there. Let's add it onto the palette. Bit to the side. You just want to even less than the oily steel, because, well, I like to conserve my paints and get a smaller brush, even smaller than the previous ones. Wet it a bit. Get the excess of it. Not really tinning it. Well, maybe just a little bit of water in there. Tiniest amount. Okay, that should work. Let's apply that to the very edges and areas that are going deep, and I mean that the damage is deep inside the area, so that it shows all the way to the brightest metal part. Well, at least that's my idea of doing it, so yeah. Might be wrong, but that's how I'm gonna roll with it anyway. A little bit inside of this vein. Well, not really a vein, but kinda looks like it. So, screw that. I thought there was some clean water in there. Nope. I guess adding a bit of a wash wouldn't make such a difference in the color, but I want to go with the bright one, so... Well, it would make a difference in the color, but nothing that we couldn't work with. It would still be pretty good color to work on this. Now, just the outside area, maybe a little bit more here. I did dry brush those armor parts, but it doesn't really show now. And let's try to make it look like it's a blast mark of sorts. Looks good to me. A bit more inside of it. I guess this will all look much better once the flat coat is on it, and once it dries, once the flat coat dries, I will probably make a video, well, a quick video really, on the pigments and how they change all the stuff around here. Sorry, that wasn't in focus, but it really looks like it scratched the paint down to the metal, or so I think. And it's a bit of a... almost cleaned my brush on the coffee. That's not a thing to do. A bit more wash in the front part here, because somehow I missed it. You will always find those parts that you've missed, and we'll go back and redo them. That's just how it is. And I think that that's about it as far as this arm is concerned, at least for now. So let's allow it to dry properly, and then we will make, or I will make a video on how the pigments change it and how it's looking after top coating with a flat coat. Thanks for watching and see you soon.